Coming up next on MBL Tonight, we're going to look at free agent losers. Those kind of guys that are trying to win this season through free agency. We're going to look at breakout superstars heading into next season, and we're going to wrap it up with a look at the playoffs. So sit right down, stay tuned, because MBL Tonight is coming at you. Welcome everybody back to MBL Tonight. I'm Sonny Weaver, as always, here to host MBL Tonight. It's been a while, so let's jump right back in. Every year, you get teams that try to buy their way to an MBL championship. That doesn't always go so well, and tonight what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of those people that have tried to buy their way in and the players that have busted out on them. So first up is one of my favorites, Bud Dupree of the New Orleans Saints. Now, Bud Dupree just signed a 6-year, $60 million contract in this offseason, yet he's only resulted in 25 tackles, no sacks, no fumbles, no interceptions. Now, a guy making that kind of money needs to have more of an impact on the game. As we like to say, we'd like to see some more splash plays out of Bud Dupree. Now, if you talk to the New Orleans Saints ownership group, they feel like he's making those plays. But I'll tell you what, at 6 years, $60 million, I'd expect a lot more. Next up on our list of FA busts is Rob Gronkowski. Now, Rob Gronkowski signed a 3-year, $35 million contract with the Green Bay Packers this offseason. The Packers season hasn't gone so well, and one could look to Rob Gronkowski for one of those reasons. Less than 400 yards on this season, just 2 touchdowns on the year. He's really not much of a difference maker. You could get the same production for a lot less. Ownership in Green Bay feels like he's underutilized. Is that on Aaron Rodgers, or who is that on? We'll have to find out. But I'll tell you one thing, Gronkowski has been a bust. Continuing our trip looking at the free agent bust, next up's Vontae David of the Los Angeles Rams. Now 12 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 interception doesn't seem all that bad, but David just signed a 3-year, $38 million contract. For looking at that defense out in LA, you'd expect a lot more. Now 5 sacks, some would argue, would be that's pretty decent production, but for a 4-3 linebacker, you'd expect more tackles and more interceptions. So that's why Vontae David ends up on our bust list. And topping off our bust list is the $20 million man himself, Tyler Lockett of, once again, the New Orleans Saints. Now, Lockett's gone for about 640 yards, 5 touchdowns, decent production. But as I said, the $20 million man, you expect a little better production than that. Once again, you reach out to New Orleans, what they'll tell you is they expected a little bit more from Brandon Cooks goes down with injuries. Lockett still doesn't really step up. So that's why Tyler Lockett is actually our bust of the year here on MBL Tonight. So we talked about the bust, so let's go ahead and look at some of the bright side of things. We're going to look at the breakout stars, the guys that we think here on MBL Tonight will be going and helping their teams ascend to the next level next year. Starting out, we're going to look at rookie quarterback Taylor Tercero of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Taylor Tercero has come out. He was not the big drafted quarterback that goes to Womack last year. However, Tercero has had a great year, leading the Jaguars, putting them in a position to try to get into the playoffs. Will it work out? We don't know, but we believe that Taylor Tercero is going to be the next big thing coming to MBL next season. Also on our list, the breakout for next year is Howard Lockhart of the New York Jets. Now, Lockhart got off to a fast start year, the second-year man. He got off to the quick start, kind of fell back into the pack, but he still got the Jets at the number 2 seed in the AFC. We feel like Lockhart next year could go on to be possibly one of the premier backs in MBL. So we're looking for Howard Lockhart next year to be a breakout star. And our last breakout star here on MBL Tonight is the linebacker from Kansas City, Marvin Mentor. He does it all, the sacks, the fumbles, the interceptions. This guy, he's only a rookie. He was a later pick. He was a steal in the draft. We believe he could be the premier player. Think J.J. Watt meets Von Miller. This guy does it all. And so we feel like Kansas City's got a great one here in Marvin Mentor. And so we're looking for him to be the big breakout star of next season. So those are our stars and our busts looking towards next year. We'll have to keep an eye on those guys. Obviously, you can move from one list to another pretty easily, so something to keep an eye on. Next, we're going to roll in and we're going to look at the playoff race. We'll start out with the AFC. Now, obviously, you can see that the Pittsburgh Steelers are on top of the list. Those Steelers look deadly. I'm not sure anyone is going to be able to knock them off. Surprisingly, at number 2, you have the New York Jets. We talked about Lockhart and what he's doing there. Look for Robbie Anderson and the rest of the crew in New York to be a force to reckon with in the playoffs. The 3 seed currently sits with the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Titans got off to a fast start. They've struggled a bit down the stretch, but something to keep an eye on there as Derrick Henry is leading the way for that group. 4 is the Denver Broncos. Not sure the Broncos end up with that spot when all said and done. The Oakland Raiders closing fast down the stretch, and I think they're going to get a chance to get in. 5th seed right now is the Cincinnati Bengals. That one is one that's going to be up in the air. There's a lot of teams tied at 9 and 7. Losing halfback Tompkins is going to be a big loss for them. Not sure they're going to be able to recover. Look to that Week 17 matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, as that may be a play-in game for the Bengals. And last but not least is number 6, the Houston Texans, currently fighting with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans have to win out to get in. That's something to watch. We talked about, once again, Taylor Tercero in our Breakout Stars. If the Jacksonville Jaguars can make a push down the back end stretch, they may take that last spot from the Houston Texans. The AFC is going to be fun to watch, and it's something that is interesting, especially in those 5-6 seeds. Anybody can get in there along with a couple others not mentioned. So we're going to go ahead and look at the NFC playoff picture and see where we stand right now. Currently sitting at number 1 is the Detroit Lions. The Lions have been unstoppable. Matthew Stafford having another MVP season, but Jeremy Hill coming on finally, giving them a running presence, something they've not had historically. The 2 seed currently is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys using that amazing offensive line along with Ezekiel Elliott to try to win those games. They've had a couple falters down the stretch, but that's something we'll have to wait and see if it comes back to bite them. 3 seed set currently the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals have been a bit of a surprise this year. They started off with a couple losses. Down the stretch, though, they have been great. Adrian Peterson has found new life, and they're a team to watch here heading into the playoffs. The 4 seed Carolina Panthers, led by Cam Newton and rookie Roman Rainey, have been an explosive combination, bringing the option back to MBL. They're going to be a tough one to stop, and that defense, led by Luke Kuechly, is one of the best in MBL. The 5th seed Washington Redskins, they've got some big wins on the year. Now, they've done a lot of turning over of the ball. Kirk Cousins goes down early in the season. Not sure if he's going to be back for the playoffs, but they've made do with what they've got. Watch them down the stretch as a 5-4 upset. They could take out the Carolina Panthers. And finally, sitting at the 6th seed currently is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, that offense is explosive. Suggs, the rookie wide receiver, is out till the championship round. Not sure they make it there. However, Blake Bortles, Willie Snead, and Julio Jones have had an explosive attack, and Devontae Freeman has been one of the best on the ground. So be sure to watch out for those Falcons down the stretch. And that's all we've got here for the NFC playoff picture. Now, looking ahead, I like the Steelers and the Lions to be in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. So look for Steelers-Lions as this MBL Tonight prediction. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Now, we'll make sure to get back to you guys here real soon. Look for episodes to normally run right before playoffs and right after the preseason going forward. Make sure you follow along on Twitter and follow along the YouTube channel, MBL Network. A lot of great content coming out. For all of us here at MBL Tonight, I'm Sonny Weaver. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.